Welcome. Today we're going to cover how to do advanced server management in Arma 3. First off, multiplayer server commands are done through this Rcon tool. This tool can be downloaded from this location and saved to wherever you need to save it. And you'll be able to access the tool using this PowerShell script that I wrote for you all. You could use. Alright. And what you're going to do is go to this folder, which is not documented properly in this instruction here. It just tells you where to go. But there's a port and then there's a password you need. Okay. You'll see it in these two files are basically the only thing that's going to be in here. But you need this extra config file in order to be able to set this up. Right now it's locked because I'm running the server at the moment. But when you're have it edited, you'll be able to set up the port and the password in this file. Once you do that, then you can use this command to actually access the password to be able to remote into the server. As you'll see, the server's been started, and we can actually start the Rcon tool, and it will remote in. As you can see, it's logged in, and now I can execute commands. There are several multiplayer commands that you can do from this list here in the admin list, and you can do things like shut down the server, restart the server, or the missions, correct? But one of the things we're going to cover today is actually this execute command, okay? The reason why is because it has a limited set of commands called shared commands. And you're going to see that one of its limitations here is that because it's limited those commands, as it explains here in this description, those commands are not available, but there is a little bit of a way to kind of get around that. If you set up the scripts in mission compiled into a function, you can access those particular commands because they've been compiled into that variable. So today we're going to exploit that by using a technique where we can actually use this script command here, where the highlighted part can be whatever it is that you want that has all of the commands accessible to you. As you're going to see when we do this, you're going to need your currently running server to be logging to the report file to be able to see the results of your commands. As an example, we're going to just do one right here. This is a valid script command. We're just telling it to spit out a string, and it's going to do that down here in this log. But what we want to do is run commands that are not available to it normally. So in this particular case, I don't have a mission loaded, and that's one of the things it stipulates in here that you have to understand from the server-side commands, is that the commands are not quite, or the mission scripts, I'm sorry, are not present yet. So you have to make sure you start a mission in order to do this. So if you've already created some missions in multiplayer, then this would be a good place to get started with that. So I have one here that I've created, and it's going to go ahead and start the mission, reading mission. Once it's loaded, you'll kind of see it's doing its thing here. Game started. Now I have access to function calls that are not normally available from the main menu. And that's one of them is this MP command. Okay, we're going to kind of redirect a lot of things to a lot of things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run this command here, which normally I would not be able to do alive or all units because it's not listed in this list here, right? There's no alive. There's all users, but not all. So I'll paste that in here. It'll kick out the result here. It still kicks out an error message, but if you ignore that, you see the results right there. And that means that the code actually ran. So we're going to play around with this. We're going to go ahead and kill all the players that are all the units on the map. So edge to 1. For each, all units. Paste it into our console here. Shouldn't spit out any sort of messages because we're not telling it to. But then I should be able to rerun the last command that I did, which I have no reason to type it, I just paste it again. Oh, I missed a parentheses here. Easy enough. Syntax errors are critical here. So I kicked out an error message, but that's okay. Then I can redo my count to tell me if they're alive anymore. And should be 0. And that is correct. They're all dead. Happy hacking.